Go.
Hi, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Hi, we
Hi.
have Jen here. You got to remind me how to pronounce your last name.
Hachia.
Hachia, Jennifer Hachia from, let me get the banner up. Uh, Subscribe to Jen's channel at Ego Next Door. And you want to give a little introduction and then we'll talk.
Well, my name is Jen. I'm a research scientist and I'm an abuse survivor. I recently started a podcast and a channel called Ego Next Door. And yeah, now I'm here and having the honors to talk to Marilyn.
I'm so glad you're here, and I felt like when we talked, it was like I already knew you. I mean, it definitely you seem to have not only a handle on narcissistic control and from your own experiences, but also you're a student, and I would call you a scholar, and you also are you're very personable. So I love all that about you. So yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So right now, so you live in Europe, but you are a world traveler. You've lived so many different places, right?
Yes, I have. I was born in France. Then I lived in Canada for like 2, 3 years. Then came to Portugal. Then I went back to the States, and that's where I spent most of my teenage years. So middle school, high school, and then I came back to Portugal, and that's where I am right now. But hoping to move soon.
Do you know where you want to move to?
I want to move to the UK. But I mean, it will still take a while, but eye on the prize.
That's right. Denver, hey, Steve-O.
Hi.
See, just as you predicted, everyone see the cute kitty taking a bath behind Jen.
Maybe I should just leave and it's just the cat
I
now.
know. We were just people prop their cats in front of cameras to get watch
He's very
hours.
talkative. He's always like meow meow meow.
So, Jen, I can still totally hear you. You're freezing a little bit, but that's okay. Is it me freezing or Jen freezing, guys? Tell me
Yeah,
in the chat. But we can still hear each other, and everybody's
it's probably me.
used to live. So, if at some point you blip out, if you get bumped out, come on back in. If I miss a half a sentence because you froze, I'll just have you
Okay.
repeat it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so world traveler, you were brought up primarily by your mother, or
Yes. I mean, yeah, I don't really remember my father much besides like the negative stuff. Yeah, but let's say I was brought up mainly by my mother and by my grandma when I came to Portugal when I was little. So she was like a big part of my life and like someone that, although we didn't spend much time in person together, then when I went to the States and I was there as a teenager, I would often call. Until I wasn't allowed to call anymore, but I would often call and talk to her and send letters to each other, and she unfortunately passed away in 2020. Yeah, but yeah, but she was like the only family member that I'm like, I don't know, like for me, she was always a mother figure. She was always someone that I think is like the only person that truly loved me, like genuinely.
right.
That was her. Like she was just awesome, like really chill grandma.
So she was one of the people in your life that wasn't one of the parental figures in your life that wasn't a narcissist, right?
Yes.
And you could kind of look up to as like maybe a baseline for quote normal-ish, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, yeah. When when stuff happened with my mom, which would be very often, even as a kid, she would always like kind of. I would hear her talking to herself, and she would often like just vent with me and be like, "I don't know how your mom is so evil. I don't know how I raised someone like that," because she has 5 kids, and
Mhm.
yeah, like they're not. none of them were as problematic, let's say, as my mom.
Mother. Yeah.
So yeah, but
So whatever you're comfortable sharing,
yeah.
if you want to, start from when you were little, some of your earliest memories, and what, like I said, none of us have a right to anyone's story. I always say that. So any bits and pieces that you wanted to share, and I know you have so much insight and experience with narcissism in general. But if you'd like to, share some of your experiences, and then whatever comes to mind, we're here to
Yeah.
hear you.
So I'm gonna get shot.
It's okay.
so
I laugh
so
all the time and I cry.
yeah.
I got my tissues ready, so be ready for it. I'm
That's the
sorry
thing. I have
if
I
it
have like the
happens.
really dark sense of humor, and like sometimes I might be talking about like really fucked up shit, and ooh, I said fuck.
You're fine. We're
I talk about like this stuff
literally.
that's like kind of messed up, but I sort of smile, but it's not because I think it's funny or anything. It's just it's a coping mechanism. Like laughing, smiling is a coping mechanism. I think a lot of people will relate to that. So
Oh yeah, I give
yeah.
that disclaimer all the time. When I was talking to Doug, I was like, "Hey everybody, if I laugh and stuff, it's not because I necessarily think it's funny. It's just like a release. And sometimes I laugh at the fact that I'm crying, and I cry at the fact that I'm laughing. I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm like,
But I think you're right. Many trauma victims or survivors, I like to say,
yeah,
have a super dark sense of humor. Yes.
yes. Um, so, I mean,
Gallows humor.
like very like details of everything. Like I have, actually I posted like my last podcast episode goes in a lot of detail about my father. The next one, that's coming up on November 26th is going to talk a lot about my mother. But I mean, since we don't have like the whole day or the whole next few days to talk nonstop, because I would need like a full week nonstop talking to like talk about everything. I think you can
Yeah.
understand that. Um, well, I mean, generally speaking, she was a very like workaholic, absent mother, and when she was there, she was always like frowning, and just complaining about everything. And she was like, even when she was like physically present and not working, like picking me up from school or cooking dinner or something like that, every approach that I had to try to do normal things that kids do, like hug mommy or kiss mommy and that kind of stuff, like she would always just push me, like literally just physically push me, like stop, I'm busy, stop this, like that kind of stuff. And yeah, like I remember being a kid and just watching like movies and TV shows and stuff and seeing people like hugging and kissing and like even like these big love stories. And as a little kid, I would already like be romanticizing and thinking to myself, oh my god, I can't wait until I grow up, because then finally like someone's gonna hug me and kiss me and like do all these things. um and I would project to like a romantic relationship, because I couldn't think I can't wait to grow. I needed something to like aim towards. You can't like aim
Yeah.
towards having a new parent, so I would like aim towards having like a romantic partner. And
Right.
yeah, like that didn't go well, of course. That never goes well, like
No.
that kind of coping mechanism.
No, that totally
But
makes so much sense. I did the same thing. Like I to just escape from my reality when I was little. I did a stream on it a few probably 2 weeks ago about, it was called I Need a Hero, and all the people in my life that were sort of like just like guardian angels that would kind of come in and out of my life that would be kind. I I projected on them like they looked like the Bionic Woman, because Jamie Summers, which is actually Lindsay Wagner, and I realize now, like looking back, I'm like, I don't think and maybe one of them looked a little bit like Lindsay Wagner, but they didn't look like Lindsay Wagner. I just had that in my mind, like that was my hero, and because
yeah.
I loved the show. So yeah, I could totally relate to that. It's like,
Yeah.
put somebody or a concept or something on a pedestal. Totally.
Yeah, and that's the big problem with, people that usually have like these traumas is like then we get used to someone just is minimally nice to us and we just put that person automatically in a pedestal and we think, oh my God, that's my savior. Like, you're like number one. And that's terrible because it eventually like puts us in a very fragile place where we just become very easy to manipulate and influence. And that's where I think it's easier to attract narcissistic people in our lives. That's why, I've had like friends have told me like in the past, like, I don't know why I attract so many like bad dates or fake friends or whatever.
Froze.
But
is Jen frozen or
am I frozen? Am I here?
all right? That was
I'm
me
here.
that froze.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. So I thought I was frozen, and I was like, I was making like my thinking faces. So great. Everyone saw my thinking.
I froze. Yeah, it was me this time. I can tell when it's me because all of a sudden the screen goes black, and I get this little like swirly thing. I'm like, okay, that's me. Let me see if my husband. Dunk, if you're hearing me, maybe you want to close some windows or close some stuff. We have country internet. We're working on getting fiber optics. So, yeah. Okay.
Makes a lot of difference.
Anyways,
once you get it.
I heard when you were talking about being okay, let me go back. You probably remember more of what you said than I did.
No,
everybody
actually,
else probably heard you.
No, I have terrible short-term memory, so I have no idea what I'm saying.
Well, the lead-in was talking about putting people on a pedestal and then kind of almost like presenting yourself because you're just so grateful for any kindnesses that they show you that you kind of open yourself up to manipulation. And that's like classic love bombing. Like I was listening to several of your videos this morning and Duncan, I went to pause one because I was going to walk out of the room and Duncan's like, what are you doing? I was like, my husband was listening to you too. I said, okay, I'll rewind it when I come back. So yeah, you were the topic of your insights were the topic of conversation. And I really liked how you broke down narcissism into, what was it, 10 different characteristics?
Oh, manipulation tactics.
Yeah, those were really good. Yeah. So
and one of them future episodes will give examples on each as well. So I'm diving more into like personal stories, so also people can like relate and understand more like the context of it. But then I think it's the episodes coming in December. They will dive more into specific examples related to manipulation tactics. So that will be interesting for whoever is interested in that kind of like more deconstructed explanation to each thing. Yeah. So I think I also was saying, about the memories as a kid. So like that was one of the things I remember a lot, just really craving that attention and like not understanding why she was like so cold, kind of, but still I don't think I realized how bad it was because how bad it was because like my father was worse. So, like when you have like one person that is really terrible, even if the other one is like, if you have two people and one person is really terrible and the other one is terrible, but not as terrible as the other one. And that's like at the time I didn't even know my grandma. So like, that's all then you're going to think that the one that's not as bad is just great. Like you're going to be super thankful for that, and that was the case. Like he was absolutely absent. Like he would never be home basically. Supposedly was working or studying or I don't know, honestly, but I remember like making like these drawings because I didn't know how to write at the time. I was still like 3, 4, 5, and I would be drawing and like I would basically leave the drawings for him, like as a letter, for when he got home. And then I would be like super hopeful to like receive a response in the form of a drawing. And in the morning I would wake up and be like, Mom, did dad respond? And like most of the time it was a no. So yeah. But I mean, I don't really remember him at all. Like, because when I think of him, I only remember like, the physical abuse. Like, I just remember like him just being always like with this really angry look on his face and like always on his computer. And when he wasn't on his computer, he would like be yelling at me like, "Why are you making so much noise?" And I was just playing with my Barbies on the room next door. Like, I don't even know how he could hear me. And then like he would be like, you're making too much noise. You should learn your lesson. So, he would drag me across the hall, put me in the bathroom, and like start belting me, like nonstop until I was like just lying down and like really pretty much not moving. But like I didn't want to like tell anyone because I didn't want to be like the reason why my father and my mother would get divorced, because them between each other had like a pretty good relationship. So I didn't want to be the one like breaking them up. Like it's kind of it's messed up to think a child would think that, but
That's so young. Yeah. How old were you when they broke up?
I was 9, so he was violent. Like I was like 7, from like 7 to 9. I mean, no, in Canada also. I go like into detail in the episode that came out yesterday. But yeah, like even the few times that I saw him, like that I would see him in Canada, he would like be pretty violent. And I remember just being really scared of him. Like I remember just being like on edge all the time, and just scared that he would just come home early or something and like see me doing something that I wasn't supposed to. And when we're saying not supposed to, is like, on the
Being a
computer,
kid.
like playing or just I don't know. But then again, it's like everything as a kid, like everything that I did seemed to be wrong. So I couldn't really get it right. Like, even with my mom, because like if I tried to like have a conversation or talk or play with her, she would be like, "Shut up, leave me alone," and stuff. So I should be like, basically, I learned from a young age that I should be quiet. Like I should be quiet, not talk, not manifest anything, and just be like non-existent.
Yeah. Why do some people even have
Yeah.
kids? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's awful.
I
So
think
she obviously
in
didn't
her
have that
case,
nurturing,
she
like
no, she didn't,
maternal.
and she always said she
Mhm.
didn't have like, for example, she said that she decided not to breastfeed me because it grossed her out imagining that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, but she wanted a
I
child
mean,
because she
I could
wanted
see that. I could see that, but you don't tell your kid that. You know what I mean?
right?
That's awful.
Like,
Yeah.
I totally understand that like some women make that choice, and like for some women they make the choice because it's either too painful or because they literally physically cannot actually produce enough milk. Like there's a lot of reasons, and like some people just don't feel comfortable, and that's okay. But like that's the thing, telling your kid that is like it's very narcissistic, because you're not considering the other person's feelings, especially if it's a child. Like it's a child, they're not gonna like rationalize the situation. They're just gonna
Right.
think, okay, well then I'm just an inconvenient. you know yeah, but I mean,
up
she
to 9,
liked
you
me
only
because I
told
was an
her?
accessory.
Oh, yeah.
you know
I get that.
She saw me as like a little she saw me as a little accessory, because she was like a lot into fashion, and she liked to dress me up. So like that was her thing. Um she liked to stroll around her kid and have like a mini, not even a mini me because we didn't look alike, but you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. See, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. But
Yeah, no, I understand. No, I understand. I would be laughing if I talked about that too. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, just from your story from birth till now, it sounds like definitely she had some things that manifested even worse later on. But like you said, your father was, outwardly violent and probably more you know, psycho than she was. But then when you ended up just staying with just your mother, your father was out of the picture, then more things started to develop, right? Which you
Yeah.
being young and being under her manipulation, I mean, you're just seeing it now, but it's hard when you're a little kid, you don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just I just remember thinking I was like so inconvenient all the time, and being like I just wanted to like express myself, and I used to be like, I wanted to be playful and talk and crack some bad jokes, and I was like a little clown, and she did not give me space for that. It was like shut up, like. And then, when it was just me and her after they got divorced, which was also like quite like the whole thing was quite traumatic, because it was all of a sudden, like it wasn't like a civil thing, like, oh, hey, like I see when I see like people talk about how parents handle the divorce with when they have a child, I'm like, wow, like that's super mature. Like I can't relate to that. And they talk about the child like, oh, we need to prepare our child for the divorce. Oh, I didn't get any of that. It was like,
Right.
oh, I was having just a normal day, and she calls me up because at the time, because I had like one of those phones. I was little, but I had a phone, so she could kind of call me to pick me up from school and stuff, because she worked kind of far. And she suddenly calls and she's like, get the things you can, like your essentials. Don't bring your toys, you don't need that. I was 9. Okay, don't bring your toys, you don't need that. Get your essentials. We're leaving the house. And your dad can't know. And I was like, what? Like, oh, what the hell? Like, like my safe space was my room. Like my things were like, like especially when you're an only child, that's like your safe space. It's the place you just crawl and like, curl up in a ball and just stay there. And like suddenly, oh, leave everything and just go. It's like, but why? Like, don't bring your toys. That's what I wouldn't understand. Like, why can't I bring my toys? Like, why is that not necessary? I'm a kid.
Right.
But like she was very, that's the thing about like that's why like my father definitely is a narcissistic psychopath, because like he was more intelligent in the way he would do things, and you would see like it wasn't out of impulse, it was just out of pure like this like kind of, I don't want to use the word evil, but like, that kind of like soulless desire of like just inflicting pain and like traumatizing.
Like kind of, I don't know. I call
Like
it
he knew how
something
to
like
fake it.
calculate. Right. He was like calculatively like sadistic,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
I've
like
had some people in my life
when
like that.
people were
Yeah.
around, he acted like we were the best friends. Like he would force hug me and stuff. He would like just act like the best, like that of the year. That's why like for me it's so important to like raise awareness on this, because it people never see it coming when they hear stories and like really, really fucked up shit happening in certain families. They're like, oh, I don't know, they seem like a chill family. Yeah.
Right.
Me and my
Absolutely.
parents also seemed like a chill family until you saw what happened, inside the house, and it was like a totally different story, but everyone, until probably now that I'm like starting to speak out, they thought like, I was this like um just really lucky spoiled brat that like got to travel in different countries and learn 3 languages and just go to college, and everyone just thinks I'm like this brat because that's the image they got. That's like the fixed image they had from seeing me from the outside and like seeing what was going on from the outside. But like inside the house it was different. Like recently, like a few months ago only, I turned to my boyfriend, I'm like, it's not that bad, because that's the thing, like when you're so manipulated you don't even realize it. And then I told him, it's not that bad, she's really nice to me in public. And he's like, Jen, that's really, really bad, right? And I'm like, no, I mean, because I like spending time with her in public, she's so nice to me and stuff. And he's like, no, but that's really bad because it means she's faking it for appearances. And then like slowly, like the puzzle pieces started like putting back together, and like all the things I had already perceived when I was a teenager, and I kind kind of saw right through her and saw that she was a big bitch, then I started realizing again, like, yeah, how did they manipulate me in my teenage years and brainwash me so much for me to think that they were like these awesome people? When in reality, like they're just using and abusing me even at 30. Like that's crazy. But you know, so I lost my train of thought.
Oh no, I'm
saying.
definitely thinking about a lot of things that you had kind of said in your other videos to explain, what was behind this. And I couple thoughts I had was, and we have some great comments too we can go through. Couple things I had is like, not to have dark humor, but it does sometimes help. But when like these terrible like people are uncovered sometimes in the news, like serial killers or something, they always go and like shove a microphone in the neighbor's face. Like it seemed like he was a nice guy, and it's like I did smell some terrible smells coming from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment, but he seemed okay,
Right? Because they're just so good at faking it.
Yeah.
They are good at fooling people, especially when it comes, for example, with my father. Like people still now, they don't believe me. They're like, "Oh, but he loved you so much. We saw him in the supermarket like 2 years after the divorce, and he just cries and he said he misses his little daughter and stuff." And like when I would hear that, I'll be like, "What the hell? Like, what does he miss? Does he miss like my body so he could belt someone or something? Like what the hell? Right. What the hell does he miss? Because there was nothing there. Like I remember like being a kid and like watching TV, like waking up really early, and I would wake up really early because like at like 6 or 7, so I could watch TV until they woke up, like on weekends, because I knew that like once they woke up, I would have to turn off the TV and not make noise, because then I would just hear shit like, "What are you watching? Those stupid cartoons, blah, blah, blah." And like, nobody wants that. So I would like my TV hours would be while they're sleeping. And then when I would hear like footsteps, I'd be like, okay, time to go. And I would go to my room and I would just like stay there basically, to like not bother anyone. But I wasn't even allowed to be like alone in my room very long, especially in my teenage years. Like that was a big no. Like I wasn't allowed to do anything. And that's where like the control, like hardcore began. Yeah, but going back to like being a kid, I just keep losing my train of thought because like, all these memories like just and I'm like so great. Lost.
No,
like
because
it's like overwhelming.
So, right. Do you want to take a little break and take some comments? Because you really are sparking a lot of good comments and conversation, sure. And then we can kind of pick back up to when we were teenagers. Okay. So
let's see what the people are saying.
Joel has some great comments. Joel McCoy, our buddy, the sad thing about being a child of a narcissist is that we spend so much of our life looking for the love and kindness that we see in other situations. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you explained that really well. Aaron.
Yeah, that's
Aaron S. I can relate. I've been working on boundaries and it has been helping. Boundaries, yeah. I know when you've had narcissistic abuse and cult abuse, any type of cult of one, I would call this cult of 4 with you, your mother, your father, and your stepfather.
Yes,
it's just awful. Joel McCoy again. I think Jen's father is a malignant narcissist. They are a danger.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely malignant. But then again, I wonder like, when I read those like terminology, like malignant narcissist, but like aren't all narcissists malignant? Because I don't see any, you know what I mean? Like good. I know there's like the covert narcissists and stuff, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would define at
the end of the day, it's labels.
My cult leader, Marlene Sweeney. You know how I like to say her name any chance I get.
Yes.
I okay, I'm not a psychiatrist, a doctor, or anything, but from what I've read, she has a lot of traits of what's called a vulnerable narcissist, or a
A
covert,
covert.
because
Mm-hmm.
she would always be like, oh, woe is me. Oh, just so burdened, and everything was our
Oh,
fault. And if we weren't so unrighteous and sinful or stupid, basically, she could call us stupid, that she wouldn't have to give so much of herself. And that's why she would get mad at us, because it was our fault. And oh, my husband left me, and just always a pity party. And
of course.
meanwhile, she was on top of the world, getting everything handed to her, and dictating everything. So,
Was
yeah.
Marlene my mom? That
was,
sounds a
hey,
lot.
was your mom Jezebel? Oh boy. Yeah, we could have a lot of fun with this. Oh, this is
Yeah.
interesting. Joel knows a lot about narcissists, not because he is one. He's definitely not one. He's
Oh,
an
yes.
empath, but he
I
he
know
said
him.
that he's had was brought up by narcissists, unfortunately. A trait
Yeah.
of a narcissist is the chameleon effect, to fool the outside world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's when you learn kind of like to read them, because then they have like these specific. I plan to do like more videos on like facial expressions they do and stuff, because they did like some very specific
Interesting.
things, like I don't know, just the stares they give and stuff, like certain things, like the way they look at you, like kind of like with there's one like that's really really typical, that's like you're talking and they're kind of like they're kind of like disgusted, like they kind of want to like destroy with their eyes, like their eyes are like bullets. I'm not even kidding, like this is a very like typical narcissistic like facial expression kind of thing, is like
Yeah.
looking at you and kind of with this look of disgust, but it's usually when no one else is looking, and this can happen like in public, and
Wow.
it just makes you feel like you should just, like disappear, like right there, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so humiliating, the look they
There's
give.
this thing in Fundy Christianity where the mother or father should just have to look at the child and they'll snap into, better behavior, right? So you just
Yes.
give them that look. I mean, I'll admit I've given my kids that look in public or something, like knock it off. But I see what you mean, that manipulative thing, almost like
Yeah.
um stripping you, like almost looking right through you, and and
Mm-hmm.
and manipulating you and making you feel unworthy, whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
they
understand that.
because it's like that disgust, not just the, because I look at my cats like that, like stop pooping on the floor,
Right,
but
but
that's
there's a
different
difference.
than
Yeah.
like that disgust, like the mouth,
Evil.
the
Mhm.
hold on a second. Oh god. Okay, it's like the cat's automatic thing. It was like making some noise, and I was just turning it off.
We love cats. We love cats on the Aaron said, "Oh, you've met my parents and my husband." Oh, no. Yikes. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
So wait, let me see. We haven't approached everything, I think. Have you seen all the starred comments?
I just put some more up, but we can read some more if you want.
Yeah.
Give it a little break. One quick one for me. I've met Lindsay Wagner, and she has the most amazing glow and is really amazing woman. That's so nice to know. Love it. Oh my goodness. I want to meet her. She's got to be getting up there in her 70s. Maybe I'll try to write her a letter. I've never tried.
You
Interesting.
should do it.
Well, I'm happy to know. Do it. I'm happy to know. Good person. She seemed very sweet. That's great. Okay, I'll read some more here. Yadira comment: my heart breaks for every stolen innocence, for every extremely abused and neglected child / young person. We are trauma bonded, but it makes us stronger. Thanks for sharing your stories. Yeah, thank you for being here, Jen. I know it's not easy, and someone else said that as well.
Oh, it's
Aaron, I think you're
fine.
very brave. It's fine.
It's fine.
Uh,
It's fine. I mean, really, because the most important
yes.
thing, like, I know that hearing other people telling their stories helped me. So I know that this can help other people not
Yeah.
feel so alone, not feel like, it's just darkness.
Right.
So it feels like the pain was worthwhile because it's possible to help other people. You know what I mean? Like I would just not be able to move on with my life, carry on, and not do something about it, knowing how like evil some people are. Like I couldn't. It's just I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. You know?
Yeah, I totally understand that because, I know that something was kind of all pervasive with me is just feeling of helplessness and also not being able to understand or express what happened to me. So then when I started to explore those things and start to gain the vocabulary and the understanding about narcissism, about cult abuse, about abuse in general, manipulation, manipulation tactics. I
Tactics.
wanted to, like, when there's something that helps you, it's like, hey guys, this can help you. It helped me, So
Yeah.
I'm like that. I'm like very much a herder, I want to gather everybody
Say.
together and let's heal, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
Let's
feel
go.
it, like, the sense of justice, like Marlene Sweeney is sitting up in, the woods right now, 85 years old, thinking that she got away with her shit. But guess what? I'm, there's at
She
least
didn't. We are
200,
here talking about
right,
her.
200 people that know her name, and
Yeah.
yeah, I can understand that. Is like it is really hard, but when you get to the point where you're ready to share, even in little increments, like I've just been sharing my story in bits and pieces. It is cathartic, I think, and it
Yeah.
also helps others. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, at least for me, every time I tell one more, like every time I put one episode out of the podcast, and I like, I write it prior because I really want to make sure I don't put out any details, or I want to just make sure, usually I just write it in one sitting, like the script, and just make sure like everything is there and like I'm transmitting exactly what I want to transmit. And for me, it's like once I tell this part of the story, it's not my own anymore. Like it's out there. It's for other people to like use it for their healing, for their to gain some kind of strength, to gain some kind of solace, and like that's how I try to face it. Like once I write it and tell that part of the story, like in my brain it's like, okay, you can delete this episode, you can focus on the next one, you remember, sort of.
Right. Yeah.
So I delete it from my brain, but I materialize it. But so like by materializing certain things that have happened to me, I can kind of let go of that like that weight, because the anger, I think it like I'll be real, like I don't think the anger will ever really go away, because there's just like sometimes like this anger of like, what the hell, like why are these people, how did people get away with it, like they're still out there like just chill doing their thing, like no, like this can't be it. But then it's like being angry is not going to solve anything, so might as well just kind of transform that anger into like some sort of love, to just be able to love for the person that is going through something and that needs help,
Right. No,
something like that.
makes a lot of sense.
Um,
It's great.
and I think you do that too. I mean, coming in, doing your lives and all that stuff, like you're helping people, like you're keeping them company, you're helping, you're putting yourself out there, and I think that just matters so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it really, it goes both ways. I feel like it's helping me that, I'm amazed that people would want to listen to what I have to say sometimes, but yeah, it's like building a community that I never felt like I had, because when I joined the cult, I thought that was a good community, and it turned out to be, dark and terrible and soul killing. You know
Draining.
what I mean? Yes.
Draining.
So it
These
is.
people,
Yeah.
they drain so much. Like I don't know. Like I think a lot of us, because we have like CPTSD and that kind of stuff, like we will. I mean, at least I feel like I will never be able to have like a normal life. Like like people, when I see like on in movies and in TV shows, people doing the normal human routine of getting up in the morning, having breakfast, going to work, coming back, doing all these things, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like just the getting up part, and like doing that first pee in the morning is so hard. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, put my pants down. Okay, now this, now that, wash my face. Okay, that's a big task. Now I need an hour to rest from that. Um, and it's not even like, I'm not a lazy person. I'm quite a workaholic, but like in my workaholic in my own terms, like I have moments where I'm like, everything is hard. And then once I put my mind to it and I start doing something, then I don't know how to stop myself, because I'm like, okay, now I have energy, I can do it. And then I exhaust myself and absolutely burn myself out. And like 24 hours later, I'm like, okay, now I can rest for 2 weeks, because I'm like completely. And I think that a lot of people can relate to that, of feeling like they want to do everything, but they, at the same time, they feel like they can't do anything, like all the energy up and down, and like also, yeah, I think maybe some people can relate to that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. My emotions go up and down a lot, and my energy levels, and my abilities, as far as I do. I've talked about this before, that I have some autoimmune issues going on, like fibromyalgia, and it can definitely be traced back to trauma from when I was
Yeah,
younger. And it definitely, they say the body keeps the score. That's a book that I haven't read, but
I
it
haven't, but yes, I know.
sounds right to me. And yeah, and what, I can't remember who it was that talked about boundaries, like even giving yourself some time to take a break and be nice to yourself, self-care. When you haven't had anyone caring for you, even when you really, like as a child, it's and you're used to being blamed and blaming yourself. It's hard to really step back and say, hey, I'm worthy to have boundaries and to take care of myself and put myself first.
Yeah,
That's a lesson I had to really learn.
yeah, the boundaries and the self-care, like I think I never really figured out what self-care was until I had to force myself to like rest and be like, wait, not although this stuff, like self-care didn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like it took so long, and it's hard like to work on self-care stuff, because it doesn't feel good. Because it feels like I'm doing something wrong. I don't know if you know what I mean.
It
Like
feels unnatural.
taking time, yeah, like taking time for yourself sometimes feels like, oh my god, but like I don't know, I guilt trip myself, because I've been
Mhm.
guilt tripped before for taking time for myself. And when I say time, it's not even about like, you know more like posh self-care activities like getting a massage. No, I mean like just normal like stuff you can do at home, like washing your face and putting on like some good moisturizer, or
Mhm.
taking a longer shower, stuff like that. It just feels kind of uh, if I try to do like stuff like that, there's a part of me that's like guilty about it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to, you should be doing something else. But
I'm
no, you
sorry.
shouldn't.
I'm laughing because I don't know, a few days ago or maybe last week, I don't know, the days just kind of meld together. But I just found myself like laying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, just petting my puppy. And I was like, I think maybe Kelly or somebody texted me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm literally laying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, petting the puppy, and I feel really weird about it.
Yeah,
Like
because you
I
were
wasn't
so used to having to do things
I
that.
wasn't yeah, it's like when I sit down, I'm still working. I'm still, answering emails, or, working on my next thumbnail or whatever. It's like always going, and I do burn out majorly. And well, with insomnia and everything, that doesn't help either, you know.
I think now that we're talking about this, I actually think I have a theory. Like we are we were so used in the past, because of trauma, to have to look forward to something because the present was so bad, that now that things are
Mm,
safer, our brain is still thinking that the present is as unsafe as it was. So
right.
that's why it's so hard to be in the present. Like
Yeah,
for
because
us.
yeah, your adrenaline, everything, we're like always on high alert. And I think you
Yeah.
even mentioned that in one of, some in so many words in one of your podcasts about being, constantly, I don't remember how you put it, but I could totally relate to just,
Mhm.
being on edge all the time, or just constantly running on this high level of sense of danger, where it's hard to
Yeah.
tone it down and to relax and to be like, I'm safe.
Yeah, like simple things like, for example, that the part where, my life episode where my mom decided to just leave my dad, and like just on the same day, and like call me and be like, okay, we're leaving right now, grab your stuff. Like even that, it was super traumatic as a kid, because your home is supposed to be your safe space, and suddenly you're taken
Right.
from that, and like, and you're like, but why? Like, this is my place. And like suddenly you don't have a home anymore, and like we're living with my grandma, and like, I mean, my grandma was awesome. That's not the point. It was just, I was used to being, I had found some place that I could call home after moving like from France to Canada, from Canada to Portugal, from Portugal to like one house to the other. And I thought that was like the home.
Right.
But then, and that was like a constant in my life, was always like, suddenly when I start feeling like I'm home, when I start building like in my head like the concept of, okay, this feels safe now, suddenly, oh,
Mhm.
we're moving again, oh, we're moving again, oh, we're moving again. Because like even when I was in the States, we moved a couple of times. um
Yeah.
Even when we were here like in Portugal, we moved like a couple of times as well. So I think, so I'm 31 now. I have moved about, I did the maths once, it like 17 times.
Oh, wow.
So, it's like I'm always ready for to leave again. And
Mhm.
so that's why, it's always the edge thing. It's always the, okay, I can't relax. I can't, like, even sitting back, like that's the thing I'm kind of trying to get used to, because I'm always like sitting on the edge of the seat all the
Right.
time, like when I'm having lunch, dinner, everything. And I think that's a trauma response, because it's always like I'm ready to just get up um anytime I need. Like,
Right.
let's not get too close to people, because you might leave, you might have to leave suddenly.
Right.
um and yeah, there was something you were talking about the other day, actually, that um about the fear of, this is like not related but kind of related, like we're talking about trauma. So the fear of like death, and like being kind of indoctrinated into fearing it and stuff.
Mhm.
And like my family was mostly all Catholic, and I remember that like my father, from since I was a kid, he tried to like traumatize me about death, basically. Like, he would, like, I had this teacher, this elementary school teacher, when I was like 8. She was awesome, like super sweet lady, like just awesome. And she suddenly passed away. Like, she actually was doing, the reason she passed away was something like, she was getting like liposuction, and she didn't survive, like something with like the anesthesia or something like went wrong. And
Oh.
she just, yeah, and she like just stayed there. Yeah, it was like crazy, like just out of nowhere. And we're talking like 2002 or 2003, so this was, you know a while ago. But, and I remember, like, for me it was super, when you're a kid, and it's like that's the first time you're faced with like the first experience with that kind of stuff is like shocking. And
Mm.
he would be like playing this game that had skulls and stuff. And at night he would like call me up to watch, and he would be like, see, these are dead people, this is how your teacher will look like. Oh my god, ever since that time, and I was like 7 at the time, like I started having panic attacks. Like, I remember my first panic attack was around that time. And then I couldn't sleep anymore. Like, I started having insomnia from that moment on, because he would always be like, and I would be crying like hysterically, and my mom would be like, "Oh, stop it!" Like, she would be sitting across, like, in the living room, because like it was night, and they were like doing their thing, And she'd be like, oh, stop it. Don't do that to her. And he'd be like, oh, look, you see these skulls, blah, 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 blah. They're going to scare you. And I was like, you know, I'm a kid. Like, this is so fucking scary, you know? And so, like, it was like even like deeper than that, but I'm just giving like a
that's really
malignant.
really sick. That's really fucked up. Like not only taking something that's like a pretty like pretty prevalent in most religions, Christian based religions, about the fear of hell, and that whole thing is just so traumatic. And then you got your biological father who is kind of a sadistic, you know, POS in my humble opinion. Coupled with that, it's just it's just horrible. And you know, I'm just seeing a thread through both of your parents is that they lacked not only human common decency and empathy, but the fact that they didn't really bond with you. That's just terrible.
No bonding. Yeah.
That's awful. So awful.
Yeah, but I mean, enough about the sad things. Let's fast forward to teenage years. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. I know. Doug when I was telling Doug my story, he's like, does it get any happier? I'm like, well, no, I'm sorry. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. I'm sorry too, guys. I'm sorry. When it gets too much, just look at the cat. It's okay.
That's right. So your teenage years.
Yes.
Where did they begin?
Well, they began I was already in the US, yeah. And I was like a really peaceful teen. Yeah, I wasn't like really problematic. Like I didn't do any drugs. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't do any of that. And I was like a good student. And they were controlling as fuck. Like basically they never allowed me to go to have a sleepover with friends, to have friends over, to go to friends' houses. Like that was a big no. Like I remember being invited to like go have ice cream after school. They were like, no, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Like, no, you don't need that. So, and I did ballet during my teenage years in a little bit of my childhood. So, and at one point I didn't like it anymore because that was also quite traumatic, because, I mean, ballet can be quite hard on kids, especially because, body dysmorphia, body shaming. I would like to think that things are getting a little bit better in that way. But I mean, say like 15 years ago, like teachers had no problem looking at you and being like, put your belly in. And you'd be like, yeah, I can't put it anymore in. And they're like, well, you need to lose weight then, you're fat and stuff like that. And like my body type is like kind of, curvy sort of like, it's not like, super slender and like tall, it's like I'm short and like, and they would be like just not very nice. Basically it's like, you don't belong here. Like, look at you. You're like this brunette curvy girl. Like, what are you doing here? And so like that was like at one point I was just tired of it. I was like, no, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like it doesn't bring me joy. Oh, but my mom forced me to go like till forever. And it was super far from the house. So we would take like 1 hour and 30 minutes to get to the studio. Then the class would be like 2 hours, and then we'd take 1 hour and 30 to come back. And then like that was her excuse. See, I love you so much. I do this for you. I drive 3 hours to take you to ballet. And I'm like, but I don't like ballet. Yeah, that's what you say. But you said you wanted to do ballet when you were 12. So you must keep doing it. And I was like, but I don't like it anymore. Oh, I don't care. So then I would be there and like I would try to like protest against it and like go instead of wearing like the red or the light blue like clothes thing, I would wear like black and like I would do it on purpose, like not wear my hair right, like I would not wear it right. I would wear like go like with bangs, and at the time I tried to be like emo, so I would have like bangs like hiding one eye.
Oh, would you Foster said belly dancing? There you go. That's even better. That's what you're meant to do.
I would try to rebel, but yeah, like I was just forced to go, and that's when I started seeing like how controlling she was. Like, you can't do anything, you can't be with your friends, you can't talk on the phone. Then I started finding out that like the few times I did talk on the phone, she would be listening on the other line, because I mean, people watching are probably like around our generation, so we're fine. There's not a lot of Gen Z here, I think. Okay, so but yeah, so home phones, that was a thing. Everyone remembers probably.
Well, I do remember. So, yeah, I still remember my number, 6633908.
So I would be on one line talking to a friend, and they would like pick up without making noise, of course, and listen to everything. It was like, but I wouldn't realize it until like, I only realized it afterwards when they started like throwing in my face things I was like venting and talking about with my friends. So like they were like guilt tripping me into having friends and venting to other people. So at one point I was like forbidden from doing that. So then, since I couldn't talk on the phone, I would, at the time, we used like not Yahoo, but we used like it wasn't Messenger, it was like MSN Messenger. Yeah. And I would be like, talking. Then most of my friends were like online. Basically, I didn't really have like friends in high school, so I was such a weirdo. Like, I couldn't go out. I wasn't cool. I couldn't wear the clothes I wanted. Like, until I was like, I don't know, 16 or something. My mom wanted to dress me, and even then, she like didn't let me buy clothes that I wanted. I had to like dress the way she wanted me to dress. So like, I was kind of a weirdo, and I would just be online a lot of time and like in blogs and like talking to people I met in blogs. And then months later, like this all happened, the memories are very very I don't remember exactly when it was that I found out, but I realized that they had installed a program in the computer that recorded everything that I wrote and took like screenshots every like 3 minutes. And we're talking 2007, and like there was already technology for that. Like that's, it's impressive. I mean, but it took like screenshots every like 2 minutes, and it would record literally everything that you typed on the keyboard, like everything, like, and it would save like in a text file, everything. And then at the end of the day, after like, after I went to bed, after they sent me to bed, because, I couldn't just go to bed when I wanted, or I couldn't go to my room when I wanted. I had to stay with them after dinner and like watch TV with them, watch what they wanted to watch on TV, and then go to bed eventually. They would read. They would go to the computer and read everything. Like read all the conversation I had with my friends, everything. And like when I found out, like I was insulted, obviously, and I was like so angry, like violated, because I wasn't a bad, like I understand that some parents can get concerned because, if a kid is like getting into drugs or like drinking or like their grades are bad, so something must be up, I get that. But I was a good kid. I was an honor roll student kid, and I didn't like go out or anything. I was always at home. So there was nothing I could possibly be doing that would like harm myself. But they weren't scared of me harming myself. They were scared of me harming them by not being their number one fan or something. Because they weren't bothered by the conversations I was having with my friends about like, wanting to like cancel myself. They were worried about the conversation I was having with my friends, calling her like a cow and him a bull or something like that. Like I would just make up these like random old names and call them that. That's what they were worried about. They weren't worried that I was clearly depressed. No.
Exactly, yeah.
And then at what point I was like, it was pretty bad because basically I started talking to the guidance counselor in high school, and I told my guidance counselor that I wanted to cancel myself. And I was like, and that's when they had to call like my mom. She made me regret saying anything because she was like, this is humiliating for me. How dare you say that? This is really bad. So then she took me to like a psychologist and a psychiatrist like once. And then like I had to hear it forever that she spent like, of course that kind of stuff in America is super expensive, but like $200 or something in one consultation. And like she didn't take me to more. Like I clearly needed more, but no, like but I was on meds. Like the one time I went to a psychiatrist, he gave me meds like antidepressants and stuff, which I took for like 3 months, and then I stopped abruptly because she took my meds from one moment to the other, and she said, you're not you don't need meds, you're not sick, you're evil, you're the devil, you don't need meds. So she just took them from me, so I had to stop cold turkey. Yeah. So, and like, that stopping that kind of medication, like cold turkey, that's a big, especially when your brain is still developing, that's a big no-no. Like that can fuck you up so bad. But yeah,
I'm really mad at her. I'm just getting more and more mad.
But look, she's a great mom, and she sacrificed her whole life for me. Okay, guys, don't think she's a bad person. She's a great mom. I am just so unforgiving and resentful. Okay, guys. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's take a deep breath and say hi.
Yeah, I try to think of a happy story because I don't want to make people sad.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Love you too, honey. Oh boy.
Oh, she's so sweet. Jeez, guys.
You want to read it?
Jen, I'm so proud. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. I'm so proud of you being brave to open up and share your story. Marilyn is one of the kindest people I know, and I'm so glad you're talking. Yes, she is. Well, Marilyn is very kind.
Thank you for sharing Jen with me. You have an upcoming episode, a big video coming out from Kelly. Will do a fantastic and beautiful job, and she was nice enough to not let me, she's like, I don't mind sharing Jen with you, and here we are, doing a live together. But
sharing is caring.
I'm so looking forward to your video with Kelly. It's going to be awesome. We jump around a little bit here and engage the chat and everything. There's so many things that I heard you say on your videos that I just want to delve into. So maybe we could do another stream sometime about narcissism in general. But I did want you to, just give us any bits of your story that you feel comfortable sharing that you wanted to share today. But we do have some comments coming in. We've got whatever. I don't want to, break up the continuity of your story. So right now you're a teenager. You're not that bad.
I don't think I'm that bad. I was emo, so like that's kind of bad. I'm kidding.
Well, maybe in 2007 it was looked down on. Now,
Now it's cool.
But now you're saying they, is that your
sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah, so he entered the picture basically right after she left my dad. So basically
around 9.
Yeah. So basically, I only met him for real when I was like 11, but they were already like talking on the phone and stuff. So he lived in America. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. It's my cat's machine. Aww. Sometimes it starts making noise because I have like everything automated, like the water, the food, and stuff. Because I'm scared to like forget or like wake up and like be too sick or too tired to actually get up and like do everything. So I try to like make sure they just get a consistent schedule no matter how I'm feeling because they deserve the best. So I'm talking about my stepfather. And he came in. He's a role model enabler and probably a covert narcissist as well. he's the one who decided to install the program and the computer and and control me. So that wasn't my mom, because like she's not like a tech savvy, tech guru that I know of. Because at one point I was like, I don't know this woman. Like, even before leaving, like recently, I was like, I don't even know anymore. Like, who is this person? Like, I've never, like, she's the person I've spent more time with in my life. But reading the message.
Yeah, sorry.
But I don't know her. That's crazy. Like, I mean, now I know her because I've had time to like sit and like really, do like an analysis of like her personality and everything. But at the time, yeah. But I was, besides not dressing great and or not wanting to dress great, and being emo, I was a good kid. I mean, like, I wanted to like paint my nails black and like wear eyeliner, and she wouldn't let me ever. Like, that's like normal teen stuff, I think. I mean, at least my classmates used to do that, and they were so cool. And I thought, like, if only my mom let me wear eyeliner and paint my nails black, I would finally be cool, and that cute guy across the room would look at me and save me from this. That's what I would be thinking.
Well, you are really cute. You remind me of two actresses that I really like. Is it Keira Knightley from? Yeah, you look like her, and you remind me a little bit of Winona Ryder in the early days.
Oh my God!
You have that like classic, look. I love, you're beautiful.
No, like,
why?
she's gorgeous.
Yes, you do look just like her. I think. What do you think, guys?
It's the camera, guys. No, I'm just really cameragenic.
Cameragenic. See,
cameragenic.
It's purple. And you're so cute. I'm sorry, putting you on the spot here. So yeah, teenage years. I mean, you're obviously, you've got like a bajillion degrees and stuff. So you're a student. You did well in school. They didn't acknowledge that. I mean, it's hard to do well in school and still being abused the way you were and accused of being such a horrible teenager. I mean, they want to see a horrible teenager. I wasn't, but
no.
I mean, I wasn't on drugs and all that, and I wasn't really, screwing around. I was just smoking cigarettes and skipping class. And all that kind of stuff.
I mean, at one point, I discovered smoking. I mean, they smoke too. Like, I found out recently that actually my mom also smoked, and she would always be like, "Oh, I didn't smoke. I never smoke. I'm like so pure and perfect. I would never." But like, I found out that she did.
Oh yeah, they always do what they're. Maya said, "You look like the woman in Flashdance." I'll have to go back and. I know I've seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the actual movie, but I've seen like some scenes. Oh no, she is gorgeous too. You guys are. No, there's a problem here. It's probably the camera. Check your camera.
Problem here. It's your.
Check your screens, guys.
What's your perception of yourself? You are gorgeous. So okay. So, anyways, yeah. So you. So you become an adult, and then go to school, right? Obviously, you have a lot of.
My brain just froze. Sorry, like when your brain just like stopped. Okay, so because I lost my train of thought. But yes,
because I'm putting up all these embarrassing things saying you look like a movie star, but you do. So, anyways,
I mean, I did want to be an actress when I was like a teenager and stuff. Even when I was a kid, I really wanted to like anything that had to do with like just imagining stuff and like acting and like writing. I wanted to just do things, but like they wouldn't take me to any auditions or anything. And we lived so close to New York that there was no excuse. Like, she worked in New York. They just didn't want to bother, like, because then that would give me like too much like potential stardom and something that they didn't really, that wouldn't reflect on them. She wanted me to do something that would reflect on her, like
Gotcha.
college would reflect on her because it's like, oh, I paid for it. Um, but for information, college in Portugal is quite cheap compared to America. Like there's like no comparison whatsoever, which is one of my theories. That's why I think she decided to move here back before I started college there, because I was already getting my applications ready. But suddenly, out of nowhere, she was like, we're going back to Portugal. And I was like, why? And she was like, because of your mental health. You are clearly not okay, and you need your family by you. And I was like, what? Like my mental health? My mental health was bad like 3 years ago when I was, 15, not now that I'm like nearly 18 and my life is actually quite put together, and I actually had like friends and people. I started like having friends and people to like do stuff with eventually.
Right. Yeah.
So that's like one of my theories. She just decided to move here so she could like say that like she put me in college, and yeah. But
so you moved to Portugal when you were about 18?
Yeah, when I was about 18. Then I did go to college, yes, but I started working as well. So I was actually working and going to college and then working for them as well, because they bought a coffee shop, and basically like they had no one working there. It was me. So I would go to class and then I would just like drive like from there to like the village where we used to live, to work in a coffee shop in the village and stay there until as much as needed, and then go home, sleep, and then go back to school, and then go back to the coffee shop. So even after that, that's the thing. Like little did I know, because I thought when I would be 18, I would finally have freedom.
Yeah.
Like I would finally be like, okay, freedom, because I was like 14, and I was looking up on the internet calculators to calculate how many days I still had until I was 18. And then I would be like counting it down. And then just to annoy her at one point, I would be like, okay, I have, I don't remember, but like, I have 936 days until I am free of you.
Wow. I like that.
But then they found a way, because they needed me to work for them, because they weren't going to pay someone. They were super greedy in that way, and it was a good excuse, because then after school, instead of being able to do the normal college student things, like go for a coffee with the friends, or go to like study together in the library, or stay for dinner or whatever, I couldn't, because I had to go work. So during my
isolation,
college,
yeah, you were isolated. Yeah,
completely. And so I feel like, and this is where I relate a lot to people, like a lot of people like in the SPTV community, because although I wasn't in Scientology and I wasn't like in a cult like you were as well, I really feel like it's a cult of one, because there's a bunch of things, like normal social things, and like even TV shows, movies, actors, musicians, name it, that I have no idea what they are. I have like no reference. It's like I wasn't in this world. I have like no reference of like the normal teenage stuff that people knew, because most of everything I was doing was so controlled. Sorry. That's the food machine.
Aww, that's cute. It's fine.
It has a recording. A recording of my voice saying it's time to come eat, so they know.
Oh, I love
he
that.
Doesn't want to.
I love that. That's so cute. I was like, wait a minute, is there somebody here at the doors? Like, heard a woman's voice.
That's why you were like, oh, what's going on? I thought you were just like, I had enough of her.
I just always assume it's something crazy going on outside my door here, because you never know. You never know.
Yeah. So, and then I have a surprise narcissist in my story that no one knows about. But on my second year of college, I started dating a narcissist.
Oh,
And I stayed with him for 7 years.
wow.
I'm laughing because, I don't want to I don't want to cry about
Right.
this.
I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, so then it was like, and I'm not going to get too much into it because that could also be like a bunch of hours talking about that part, but pretty much like he was a person that went to the coffee shop.
Did you
And
foster such familiarity? That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, because you were,
yeah,
your
exactly.
parents were.
But yeah, I mean, I used to be like, I always used to get like very infatuated with guys that were like very narcissistic because but I mean, they wouldn't date me because, I wasn't cool. Or like, I thought I wasn't like pretty enough and stuff. So like, yeah, but I was like, they would like not even notice me. I'd be like so infatuated with like these guys, like they didn't even know who I was. Like, what, that weirdo in the back? Who's that? Yeah, so, but I started dating a narcissist, but he didn't seem like a narcissist at first. And however, he didn't seem like your typical narcissist, but he did love bomb me a lot. And I had this like gut feeling that he wasn't, like, it was just off. Like deep down, especially for empaths, we kind of know, like, it feels off with some people. And that was the case.
Mhm.
But at the time, because of my conditioning when I was a teenager to like shift back from thinking like that my mother was a bitch and that, I should escape as soon as I can, to, oh, they actually saved my life, because I got convinced that they were great people. That's the thing. Like, they convinced me that they were great people, that I should trust them and tell them everything. So I stopped actually having friends and just going to them for everything and thinking that like they were, my saviors or whatever. And that was the problem, because I vented because I had no friends at that point. I vented with her that, that he was interested. Like, oh, that guy that comes here to have coffee, like, he wants, to take me out for coffee or whatever. But I don't feel right about him. Like, there's just this gut feeling, like it's just off. Like, he makes me feel really uncomfortable. And she was like, oh, you're always like that, aren't you? Like, if you keep being this picky with people, you're going to end up alone. That's why, like, you never had a boyfriend still, and, barely kissed you're like 19 now. And, so I felt super guilty. Like, well, if my mom, which is like the queen of knowledge, is telling me that, I'm going to end up alone if I don't give it a chance, let me give it a chance. And that was like one of my greatest mistakes, because he was just the perfect narcissistic partner.
So she liked him? She wanted you to be with him?
Oh yeah, she loved him, and he loved her. Oh, and they would, like, at one point, they would team up, and they would like gang up on me, like, oh, why are you acting like that? And then he would like, oh yeah, you tell her, mom. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Hi guys, I'm here. You're talking about me, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like 7 years of hell. And then then how did we break up? Well, I'll be real, like, and I think this is also a recurrent thing for people that are like empaths and that get into relationships with narcissists, is that even though we know that it's really bad and that it feels off, when you invest so much with some of yourself with someone, then you have a hard time leaving. Mm-hmm. And like, part of me was like, but he needs me. Like, I can't leave. I'm gonna break his heart. Like, that's what I wanted to believe in. Like, I didn't really feel like lovey feelings for him, but I always thought like, he needs me. Like, he's so dependent on me. Like, he really needs me for everything, because I was like basically his mom, And the reason we broke up was because he discarded me and left me for a friend of ours.
Maybe he did you a favor.
Oh, he did
you a favor.
No, I thank him every day. Like, when I would call him, thank you. I mean, I don't even think about him every day now. Thank goodness. But Yes, it was great that he did that, because also he left me for a narcissist. So they are just a narcissistic couple. I just hope they never have kids, because,
Yeah.
per kids, for children. But yeah, so it was like so weird. Like the whole thing was just crazy. Like it could be a freaking movie, just that relationship. Because he was like super controlling. Like he wouldn't let me like it sounds crazy when you like look back, when you're like from the outside looking in, but at the time it felt perfectly normal. Like he didn't let me drink soda or have fast food or eat chocolate or you know stuff like that, like talk to my friends, not spend I couldn't spend a day without like practicing sports, stuff like that. He's just like really
You
yikes.
couldn't you couldn't spend a day without practicing sports. What does that
Sports.
mean?
That means that I had to become basically an athlete.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
At which I did. That's another story. That's another story, okay, guys?
Yeah.
But it's
So what, he
okay.
pushed you to run? He pushed you to, I mean, how old are you at this point? Like you didn't have
Uh
to like join a team, right? He was just making you do physical activity all the time.
that, yeah,
You didn't have to
basically.
join a
And
team.
then well, it's basically I joined like CrossFit, which some
Oh,
people
okay.
would say is a bit cultish, which
Yeah.
yes, I could
I've
like,
heard that.
it,
I,
that needs a
just,
whole thing on its own.
I
Like
know.
I'm not even gonna
I'm
I'm not
zoning
even
in
gonna
on
get into that.
you were just talking about how he was controlling you. Like, those are just some of the things, is like controlling your activities, pushing you, physically, controlling, eating or sleeping or things like that. So that's why I zeroed in on that, because that's one of
Yeah.
the things that
Oh yeah, my sleeping
I
too. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, the sleeping. Like I couldn't sleep in a little bit because, oh, you don't work, you don't want to do shit, blah 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 blah. Like he would call me all the time, be like, if I didn't pick up, like that's it. Like I'm a piece of crap. Like it was kind of crazy. But I'm all good now. Okay, I'm fine, guys. Don't be worried. I'm just telling my story because I think it really can like help other people. But I'm
Oh,
like
absolutely.
I've healed from that relationship in specific. I have healed, and like thankfully, I met someone eventually, after like learning to like be on my own and learning a lot of stuff about myself. Because after the breakup, eventually I got like a crash course. I think a lot of us did because of COVID pandemic, but I got a crash course on how to be alone. Um, because after that, after like we broke up, my parents had already moved from Portugal to because they moved from Portugal to Germany, like a few months before my ex broke up with me. And then a month later, my grandma passed suddenly. And then 2 months later, COVID. And then we had to be at home. So I was like in a village by myself in a house for a bunch of months. And so that was like a crash course on like who am I? What am I doing here? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. Like it was super super hard, but I learned a lot, and it helped me like heal and learn a lot of shit about me. And yeah. Uh and then, a few years later, I met my current boyfriend, and when my parents decided to come back to move back to Portugal because of the whole housing situation, which could be like another whole
Mhm.
hour of talking. Um and he like he realized like how bad it was, and he kind of gave me like an exit, like if you need, like you don't have to like be in this, like I can help you, like you can come to my house, like. And I was like, yeah, but I have my cats, like I don't want to like impose, because it's like it's children, like my cats are children, they're not,
Yeah.
They're little babies, like
So
my
your
cats
parents,
are
not to
my
interrupt,
babies.
but I just want to get this
Yes,
straight.
yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes.
your parents moved back in with you at that point. They moved from
Yes.
Germany to Portugal to live with
Yes.
you in your house, and they were making
Yes.
it unbearable, right? And then
They
your
made it
boyfriend
unbearable.
Your boyfriend was
Yes.
giving you an out to basically leave your own home because they
Yeah.
had come in and
And
taken
taken
over?
control of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Because basically the plan, their dream, like their life dream, was to own a house. That was their life dream. So I'm not gonna judge that, okay? Let's just take a moment to absorb that information. The dream of their life was just owning a house. That was it. Okay? There's no more not like being happy or something. No. Just owning a house. Okay. And apparently they just didn't have a good credit score. And so, because I was guilt-free for so long, thinking I owe them so much for my life, I asked for credit under my name to buy them a house. Not that I could afford a house, but I asked for credit under my name. And the thing was, okay, I'll keep the house. I'll stay in the house for a few years while you guys are still there in Germany. But then when you come back for retirement, I will eventually just, go live my life, just leave, and you can just stay here. But they decided to come like 3 years earlier than planned. After I told them like that's not a good idea, it's not like I just had a terrible feeling this was not going to go right, and it didn't. Like I had to go live in the attic of my house, take my cats there. I was living in
What
a
are you,
very
like
small
Anne Frank,
space.
in the attic with the cats? That's terrible.
Yeah, and the attic wasn't like it was low ceiling, so like I got used to like just walking like this everywhere.
In your own house, you're living in the attic.
Yes. So then I decided to, we decided to. It was sudden. Like if a week before I decided to leave, if you had told me, Jen, you're gonna leave your own house in a week, I was like, no, I'm not. But it was like the last drop, like when you just had enough, when it's just so much bullshit, when it's just when you just start seeing the people for who they really are, and I think a lot of people that got out can relate. It's like you just can't anymore. Like you can't fake it anymore. You can't even look at them anymore. You need to get out. Like you really need to just escape. And so, and the thing is, like, she was super controlling, so I couldn't even spend like a day upstairs, like in the attic, even with a guest, like even with my boyfriend over. Like I couldn't spend a day in the attic without like showing my face at least like twice during the day to be like, I'm here. Like because she would be like calling me. She'd be like downstairs and calling me like, where are you? Where? I'm like, my car is parked in front. Like I am here. I'm in the attic. And she would be like, you don't care about me anymore. I'd be like, no, actually, I have a guest. And also, I'm finishing writing my thesis that I've been working on for the past like 4 or 5 years. So I need some space. No, space? No, you don't. You need me. That's all you need in life. So like for me, it was just, and it's the last drop. So we decided, we planned to exit. And like it was all secret. Like when they went to work, the plan was, a van would come to like fill the van with like my essentials, the things I could bring, like pretty much a replay of like when my mom left my dad when I was a kid. It was like a replay of that extremely traumatic moment.
Yeah.
And like, leave, and with a little help of one of my aunts. She helped with the move. Because she knew what was going on, and like, yeah, she helped me. And we in 2 hours we filled the van with anything we could. We filled the car with anything we could. And I was out of there, and we drove to the highway and came here, and that was it.
And that was how many months ago? That was fairly recent,
3.
right?
Yeah, it was 3 months
3
ago.
months. Wow.
Yeah.
You're amazing. There's people just saying how. No, I mean for you to be, and then you started your podcast. How long after that?
A month, like a month after that.
So 2 months you've had your podcast, and
Yeah.
How has it been? Like, what was the process of starting it, mentally and logistically? I mean, how did that come about?
I already knew that I wanted to do the podcast. So while I was still at home, like the plan was always like, I'm eventually going to tell my story. I'm eventually going to tell my story. But then, and I have to say, I'm going to talk about Kelly now because one of the things I did before I decided to move to like leave to escape, was watch her series of 7 episodes about Scientology. And that's where like a lot of things in my head also clicked, because I realized like I wasn't in Scientology, but man, like the manipulation, the brainwashing, the gaslighting, the making people believe in the most absurd things and then making them feel guilty for it. Like even the whole thing about, people actually being in debt even after them leaving. I was like, shit, like I'm in debt thanks to them. Like if I can't even like break up with my own parents because I literally have a credit under my name, and if I break up with them, I'm left with a credit, which is what's happening now, but that's another story. Yeah, so I watch all the episodes, and that was super effortless because Kelly is great at just talking about everything, so that was and I also heard Kelly's story and I was like, shit, like it's now or never. Like my boyfriend is here telling me that if I need, he's here. Like it's really hard for me to accept help. I've never done that before, like accepting help. Like I thought it was kind of like humiliating to accept help, because I had like this sense of pride of I can do everything by myself, I can suffer by myself, I'd rather suffer than get help. But no, I was like, no, like fuck pride and fuck this weird sense of like I owe them something, I owe my parents something, or this sense of I'm betraying them for putting myself first. Like fuck that. And I was like, whatever, I'm leaving. So I left, and then my thinking was I'm gonna leave, but I'm not going to kick them out, although it's my house, because I don't want to like rip out the last shed of like dignity out of them, because like that would be super humiliating to just like, kick them out of the house. So my plan was, okay, I'll just give them like a renting contract, and if they want, they can just rent. But then like I realized very fast like that wasn't going to be a possibility, because first of all, they didn't want to, because that would be more expensive than just paying the credits, like the monthly, like the mortgage. And yeah, I was reading. Oh, come on. No. Everybody's brave here. Everybody got out and is a survivor. Yes. Yeah, the Iceberg series, it was amazing. Like it really, like I felt so empowered. I was like, all these people are doing it. They're alive. They're they can do it. They're survive. People are surviving like things that are as bad or even worse than this. And like I'm still young. I have an out. Like I can't hide from like this reality. Well, I need to like grab the bull by the horns.
I know that Kelly did those Iceberg series while being in the house during COVID, and probably having no idea. I don't know if she's still in the chat. I won't embarrass her, but she's really helped so many people. Even like her series was the first one that my husband actually sat down and started watching, quote, SPTV TV-ish stuff with me, because before it was like my thing, but then he just adores Kelly, and he sat down and watched all 7 of them all in a row. And I remember PTS Jeff, we call him, PTS for life. Her series was part of what really helped him to just deconstruct and deprogram and understand what happened to him. So Kelly, we love you. And
it really inspired me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. Like after I left, I messaged her. I was like, it really, you really inspired me. And this is my story. I'm here to share my project, blah, blah. And then that was like one of the first things I told her. I was like, your series like totally inspired me to like grab the bull by the horns and just go for it.
Man, that's like, wow. No, that's amazing. And that's why I love this space. I love to connect with survivors, and I'm looking at people in the chat and I'm trying not to cry, because there's like a whole therapy session going on in this chat with everybody other hugs and relating to your story. So you're
Oh man.
sorry, guys. I can't
Oh
help
my
it.
God, don't cry. You're
Really
making me
nice.
cry too.
Oh, Barbara, Tampa B
This
man.
is
Oh my goodness.
this is like an amazing community. Like that's why it feels so safe to like share and so worth it because
Yeah.
to know you can like actually like hold someone's hand without even like seeing them in person. That's like we're all like helping each other and healing together, as someone said here.
Yeah, I love this. And then we have comic relief. Hi, Denver Stevo, lover boy. No, it's not funny. He really is.
Hey, but this is all remember, Marilyn, like this is all like a community you also are being a big part of creating, because this is like it's your stream. You made this. You're making this happen.
It wouldn't be SPTV if there wasn't any crying. No crying in baseball. Well, we're not in baseball, so
I'm laughing to counterbalance the tears. Actually, I can't cry with tears much.
Really?
Because I have like dry eye syndrome, so I like, they don't fall very often.
Well, don't take that medication because these commercials that are just like I forgot what it's called about dry eye, but it's like and side effects are this, that, all these horrible things, and that's it's like I'll just keep my dry eye. Thank you very much. I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, I already take like way too much medication for like all these like health problems of trauma, so it's like not more like dry. What I do with that dry eye is like, when it gets really bad, just the natural like the tears thing. Basically, it's like tears, similar ones that like actors use to cry, like to help cry on cue and stuff. That's basically what I use to help me like moisten the eye. So
I don't have any problem with that.
it's Kleenex time. It's Kleenex time.
It's really gross, but it's just like tears come really, really fast for me. But listening to what we're on about, what, an hour and a half here,
an hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah, I think that
and people are really listening all this time to us.
You've had more people coming in. An hour of 38 minutes.
Thank you guys.
To your story. I needed a good cry because it's just.
I was flattered.
Mother, I was, I wanted to hug you. I wanted to hug 9-year-old you, and there just seems to be almost this trend too. Is like I was 9 when I was adopted into the crazy like kind of Pentecostal situation, and after having a lot of trauma beforehand, but Doug from Days But Not Confused, I talked to Doug Kramer, was 9 when he started being indoctrinated and everything. So that's an interesting coincidence or age.
Yeah.
Duncan, put your pants back. Oh, never. He probably is wearing. Oh, yeah. When you're on SPTV, hanging out, he does.
Someone else also wants to be a comic relief. What kind of cheese is not yours? Here, Aaron S. said, I can be here for comic relief. What kind of cheese is not yours? Nacho cheese. I love that joke. It's to compensate that I didn't have.
Nacho cheese. Yeah, dad jokes. There you go. I love that. That's cute.
That's the only kind of dad I like. Jokes. Dad jokes.
Dad jokes. I have an uncle that has those jokes in abundance.
I love dad jokes.
Hi, Michelle. My friend Michelle. All of our friends are here. Oh, Kleenex time.
Kleenex.
Hoping we mend our hearts together. Absolutely.
You can crochet our hearts together.
Yeah, I did have a crocheted heart somewhere. Like right.
Oh,
where'd it go?
Oh, we have a visitor.
I was squeezing it. Aw.
Emilia. This is Emilia. She is my emotional support cat. Not saying that my other one isn't, but he's more of a baby himself. He needs emotional support himself, but she's just my little baby emotional support cat.
Pretty.
She's saying hi to everybody.
I've seen her in your videos, so everybody subscribe so you can see Emilia in the videos. And
look at these toes, guys. Come on. Come on. Isn't it cute? And she loves this. Like, I'm not torturing her. She loves being grabbed like this.
Yeah, so if you want to see more of Amelia, everybody, please
She's
subscribe to the
adorable.
at Ego Next Door. Yeah, so I
He's
start
like,
some things.
oh, look at me.
Have you heard our friend Joel's stories about rescuing kitties? Oh my goodness. I've gone through a whole box of Kleenex just listening to his cat rescue stories. Amazing.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I think I've read once, like on a chat, on like a live chat, but I never like actually,
He always, well, so many times, a week, like that's what he does. And so many cats have been rescued from terrible situations, and I'm like blatting. And then he named one Marilyn, I guess after me, because it was found in a burnt building with some burn wounds, and he nursed her back to health. And he said she was a feral cat, and she just needed some TLC and to heal her burn wounds and to get her to get along with the other cats. And I said, yep, sounds like me. I'm a little bit feral, but once you get to know me, you can, like, I'm very friendly. So I relate to Marilyn, the feral kitty, because
oh gosh, I love kitties too. I've rescued a few. It's not my, it's not. Unfortunately, I can't rescue anymore. But yeah, just that's amazing to do that. Like he does that like weekly, like rescuing kitties?
Whenever he gets a call. Yeah, he's got some rescues, I think now. Some he actually keeps, and some he finds forever homes for. So
that's so nice. I love rescue
yes,
stories.
Evelyn, this is the same with us. I would be surrounded with kitties too, but I only have 2 puppies. I'm more of a dog person, but only because I'm a little allergic to cats. Yeah, my husband is, and my place is too small to have clean enough litter box. I actually like them equally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have like an automatic cleaner. I have an automatic pooper. Yeah, because it helps, like, because it's super hard to like do the whole cleaning stuff and whatever because of like my back problems, because I have like a generative I can't talk anymore. Generative like disc disease thing, and I have like a fracture, like a permanent fracture on my spine. So it's like really hard to like do the cleaning. If I had to like bend down and do it every day, it would just completely wreck me even more. Yeah. So I have like an automatic pooper, one of those like pet kit ones. So you don't only need to like wash it once every 2 weeks, and you basically add the sand, and it automatically every time they poop, it checks like the weight, so it knows that there's poop there, and it rotates, it cleans, and comes back.
Oh wow.
And yeah. So like I find that very practical, especially for people that have multiple cats, because usually it's necessary to have like more than one box and stuff. So with the automatic kitty pooper, it's super easy because you don't even need to like worry about changing it all the time and stuff, and it's super clean and hygienic. So yeah, the robo litter boxes yeah, they're so cool. Like they're a little bit pricey, but I did the maths of like considering if you have like a normal, like not like a manual litter box, and you have to change the sand like every 3 days at least, plus washing, at the end of a few years, you actually spend more on that than on just having like doing initial investment of one robot like litter box, and then because it's very efficient with the way it uses the sand, so you don't need to like add as much sand as often and stuff. So that's why I was like, yeah, this is kind of pricey, but totally worth it. Like best thing ever. So if you guys have cats, I have, by the way, I'm not sponsored by Pet Kit at all, but that's the one I have, and I totally recommend it.
There we go. Brought to you by Pet Kit. So we had some comments and and maybe a few questions that I had started if you want to go through them while we kind of
Yeah,
wind
let's
down.
go through them.
All right.
Let's
Faye
give the
said,
power to the people.
all right. Faye asked, how do outsiders not see what's going on? Then I remember that we had to hide the truth or face the consequences. Yeah. So um, it is hard to believe that people on the outside don't see what's going on, but I think they just don't look. It's like, oh well, it's not my business, ignoring red flags,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
And then she was
It's
say again, part of being moved so many times can make you restless because you're getting comfortable, in my opinion.
she's right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely
Mhm.
all of it.
And then again, it's about international moves. Aaron asks, I've done international moves, although not that many, and it's super stressful. I can imagine. I had to go to Chicago in May to pick up my niece at college, and it was stressful. It was like just the airport, Logan Airport in Boston. It was just insane. I was like, I couldn't do this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the fact that packing up your stuff and then you're not going to bring everything, especially when it's an international move, because even if you have like a container and you put like all the stuff like in the big thingies that come on the boat, in the boat and whatever, like if it's across like from America to Europe and stuff, like it's just, and also that sucks. It's like hard work, but then there's another thing, which is like you never really have a place you feel like you call home,
Mm-hmm.
and I always crave that. Like, when you see in the movies, people have like this family house that like they grew up in, and like their ancestors were like in that house and whatever, and like there's all these stories and all this stuff. Like I always dreamt of that, but
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
it just, yeah, it seems like a really dreamy, optimistic thing. But yeah, I hope one day I can like start the break. We're breaking the generational cycle, like the generational
Right,
trauma,
exactly. I didn't even
and
know. Right. I didn't really have it, any family to speak of, and now I have like 32 people coming to my house for Thanksgiving. So,
oh,
you
you're
know,
creating your own family and your own like legacy kind of thing. That's beautiful.
yeah, and
Go
it's not a very big house too, so it's gonna be a little crazy here, but yeah.
hashtag life goals.
It's a little stressful. It does seem so idyllic, but then I'm like, wow, running around at the last minute. And
Yeah.
I mentioned on one of my streams that my younger sister, my adopted sister, adopted three basically babies. I mean, they're 1, 2, and 3, but
Wow.
she had them right out of the hospital. That DCF gave her the kids right out of the hospital. And the last one, that the little girl, just her adoption was finalized. So she wanted to have this big kind of coming out party because she had never posted pictures of them or anything. So
Yeah.
she was waiting for the third to be adopted, and she had like a wedding reception practically. It was huge. And
Whoa.
I said, just give me a list of a bunch of dishes that I can make, and I would just show up with a bunch of food. So that's what I did. I was so glad because when I got there, everybody was like, they see me, they're like, food over there. And they didn't even say hi to me. They're like, there are balloons and streamers just falling all over the place. It was just chaos.
Oh.
So I was like, well, yes, you can have this big happy family, but also there are some stress going, that goes with it. So I like to put on music and just, cook and kind of get things ready. And that lets somebody else deal with the serving and all the craziness.
Yeah. So wait,
So,
so all these like they're all babies then, and
well,
like they.
they
Oh, I
were,
mean, it was a while ago.
so she just adopted the third one. So the oldest is 3. So his adoption was finalized about a year ago, and then she had gotten another little boy right out of the hospital. They weren't biological siblings, but the newest one, the girl, is the
Oh,
biological sibling of the oldest boy. So they're very close in age, and the
that's
middle
cute.
child isn't biological sibling, but they're just, the nature versus nurture. She's so nurturing, and she was totally meant to be a mom. And I love being
Oh
an
my God,
auntie.
that's
I
beautiful.
just I just go and like sit in a chair or even like crawl on the floor and just lay there, and they just pile on top of me, and they call me Auntie Gaga. Like, I don't know where they got it from, but I just like to think of it as like Lady Gaga, like Auntie
Lady
Gaga's
Gaga for
here.
sure.
Yeah, Auntie Gaga's
Lady
here.
Gaga.
So yeah.
Oh my
But
God. But
it
holidays
is
with kids,
wonderful, but
cute.
it is
Holidays
cute,
with
but it's
kids.
cute and a little chaotic too, I'll tell you, Some of the
Oh.
movies are pretty accurate about like the idyllic house, but then, you got like Christmas Vacation. Have you ever seen Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation? It's like, the
I did.
big colonial house with all the lights, but then inside everybody's like, arguing and stuff. It can happen, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So
how nice.
anyways, we had a few more. Just wanted
Yes.
to know degenerative disc disease. Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah, basically it's like I have a fracture, but then I also have like hernias, and then like the discs are like all messed up, and then like the bones have like these holes in them, like in in all the spine. Like basically when the doctor saw like my first MRI, he said, "Wow, like you have a spine of a 80-year-old person." And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
my spine is wise. I have to laugh. I'm not going to cry about this. I mean, what am I going to do?
You have your spine has an old soul. Yeah, I
It's
get
an
it.
old soul. So that's where the wisdom is.
I was a freak. I had like 7 wisdom teeth. I have like regular teeth, and then I had like what they call 3 supernumerals. So I had like 7 wisdom teeth, and I'm like, why aren't I smart then? I barely graduated from high school, let alone anything else. But
hey, but this is a thing. I'm going to debunk something.
Okay.
Not everyone that goes to college is smart, and there are like going to college is not an indicator of being wiser than people that don't go to college. Because I've been in college with very stupid people. Even doing PhDs, I've known a lot of really stupid people. I'm telling you, even like teachers, like professors that have like decades of experience, and they're like experts in their field. But then like with, just regular life knowledge, they're derps. Like for real,
Jerks.
they don't know.
My kids use that. Well, you could be my kid. You're young enough to be my kid. They made one of their. I know it's like it's a sickness. I just want to mother everybody. No, but
I'll take it.
we had a male rabbit named Derp, and he was like the stud rabbit because my kids used to breed different types of rabbits, and Derp would be rented out as a stud rabbit, like people would. Okay, I live in Vermont, right? This is like a thing.
Yeah, and there was a thing with guinea pigs.
They would drop off the female rabbit, and Derp would do his derply thing, and then they'd pick him up and they'd hand my son Carter $10. So he was rent a derp.
Rent a derp. I'm scared to ask where is Derp now.
Well, he derped. He's dead. He went to derp heaven.
He derped. I'm gonna cry. I think you just made up a new verb. I'm gonna start saying that instead of saying, because usually, I don't like the word died, like, and I don't like the word passing away seems too light, but derped, like, derped.
All right, guys. Oh my god. We're definitely healing. We're healing here, right? I mean, we're crying, we're laughing hysterically. I have not even peed a little, so I'm really grateful for that.
Me neither. And I'm a professional peer too, like you.
Me too. Yeah, it's coming up on 2 hours. That's my timer.
You should have a little bucket.
I have a little outhouse like outside my window. Oh my god. So a couple of last comments here. about the surveillance. That was
Oh
really
yeah.
fucked up. That's fucked up. Lack of trust is a major red flag. Control tactics. That's not a relationship. And that's my husband, by the way, Duncan
Yeah.
Honig.
Yeah, this surveillance is kind of creepy. Like, I think it made me kind of just because my father, like after the divorce, he would stalk me like in school. So like I was a bit paranoid because of that. But after like I found out that kind of surveillance thing, oh my gosh, like I think I've always
Yeah, that's a
had like a little
betrayal.
bit of a paranoid side like to my personality because of that. Like, always like, is someone watching? Is someone watching? You know.
Oh, so messed up.
But yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah, and
Yvonne had.
Yvonne is saying,
Yeah.
yeah. I was also raised in home. Oh, that was 100% recorded. It's a total violation. Yeah, I don't understand, like, because that's not even caring. That's like they do that to protect themselves and
Right.
they do that to control you, to control the image you have of them, pretty much, to make sure that they, yeah, that's what I've learned is like these narcissistic parents and stuff. They want you to be their number one fan, and they will
totally
go to great lengths to like control everything to make sure that's the image you have of them. Like, it's crazy. Like the lengths these people go to control that is crazy.
Yeah, they isolated you too because alienating you from, the outside world, like making you work instead of doing normal things like going for coffee with your friends,
Yeah.
in college. And also, like, I'm sure, like, when you found out you were being surveilled, all of a sudden, you're careful what you say and probably withdraw.
Yeah, I was like super scared, and then even as an older person, like as an adult, like every time they would come like for Christmas or like on like summer holidays, come from Germany to the house basically to spend holidays. It was always scary because I would always be like, oh my god, are they listening? Like, is she behind a door or something? And it was always like this fear of being controlled, and which was because like at a certain age you don't need to have like a whole like schedule, like a schedule to have breakfast, a schedule to have lunch, a schedule to have dinner, and then if you don't do it because you don't feel good and stuff, especially me with my injury, like a lot of times I couldn't like get up or like go have lunch or have dinner. I just didn't feel like it because like because of the trauma I have like a lot of stomach problems, a lot of like headaches, migraines, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes I just can't, I don't feel hungry or whatever. Oh, that would be like a personal insult, to even stay in bed because I'm sick. Oh no, you're coming because I cooked. You are gonna eat even a little bit, or else you are offending my whole existence, And that's what narcissistic parents do, is like not give you space. And that was like the biggest one of the biggest things that like really clashed and like really helped me like wake up and helps me still not when I go into like these moments of doubt of thinking, no, I'm just a horrible person. I I went no contact with my parents. I abandoned them. I remember like, no, because I look at how, right now, it was my boyfriend and his mom that like, I'm living with them, and like his mom is a real mom. Like that's where I see like, wow, so this is it. Like this is the role model, like because she is just amazing, like awesome, and she grew up like in the same generation or even a little bit older generation than my mom's, and she's not as controlling, she's not as any of that. There's like not that many formalities and schedules and stuff, and she doesn't force conversation. She's just a real mom, and like the fact that we're talking about someone that like she didn't know me in person. And when when my boyfriend was like, I think Jen has to move in, she was like, of course, like no problem. It's like, but she has 2 cats, and she was like, they had never had pets for like a long time, and she's a little bit allergic to cats. She was like, there's no problem, like whatever it takes for her to be safe. So like that kind of like kindness from a stranger, from someone that didn't know me at all. Like I could be anyone. Like I could be just a random ass girlfriend, like someone that's just, using him or whatever.
Right.
Like I could be a narcissist. And she like opened her doors to me and like we've had deeper conversations, me and her, than I've ever had like with my mother or with any of my parents. Like, and I've been here for, 3 months.
Yeah.
And like there are kind people out there, and like this was like a big example of that. Also, like with the whole SPTV community and seeing like, all these people that you really see kindness, like, and it really helps to like when there's like dark days to look at the this community and be like, no, like I'm not gonna give up. Like there's all these people surviving and fighting. Like there's no way I'm giving up now. Like,
and your story is so parallel to my cult story. I mean, the isolation, the abuse, the narcissism, all that stuff, the fear of the outside world, like going out in the outside world and being so shocked that there's decent people out there.
Yeah.
After having,
and it feels
being so controlled for so long.
Yeah. And like I was watching your interview with Doug, and like one thing you guys were saying, and he was saying, was that like, how it feels so like awkward to accept like kindness from other people. And like right now, like I'm unemployed, like I'm disabled, I'm unemployed, I have like all my life savings I'm spending on paying this credit that I didn't ask for at all, because they just fucked off, and I'm the one paying the stuff, and it's crazy. Like life saving is going fast, and so like I can eat and have a roof over my head in the winter, thanks to my boyfriend and his mom that are doing this for me. They didn't have to, and it feels so like I want to give back so bad. Like I'm not used to having people do these things for me. Like, man, like even just basic stuff. Like I was so used to just being me, the mom of my mom, and fending for myself and just having to do things, that like accepting that kindness and seeing that like I don't, I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, I need to give back. Like I need to do something. Like, she cooked dinner. I need to do something. I need to give back. It's like, no one is doing anything for you to give back. Like things happen naturally. I'm like, but how? It's like, it used to be currency. Like if someone does something for me, I have to give back. Like I talked and they listened. Like they didn't roll their eyes and then tell me to shut up. They actually talking. Like people are listening. They're not telling me to shut up or telling me that I'm annoying or slapping me in the face. I don't know. Or like, what?
Right. Yeah. You almost have to like relearn how to act, out in the outside world, because with me, and I can imagine, you're basically in a cult of one or three or four or whatever. And that's like because of the isolation and all the control, that's what So when you go out in the world, it's like, it took me a while to even have like the vocabulary to understand and express what had happened to me, and to kind of get to know like what is normal, or in our case it was called worldly, but
it's
just
so
all
weird.
the threats and all the fear, being on the dung heap and all that stuff. Now I'm like, I love it. I love the dung heap. Give me some more. But there's a couple more.
So weird.
There's a couple more.
Yes.
Comment. Oh wait, I wanted to end with that one, Joel. Faye said, when family hurts more than helps, walking away is sometimes the best thing for everyone, again, in my opinion. So you had to come to that and just be like, I need to leave.
Because I left and then I basically blocked them everywhere, because I know that, because I always had this idea that leaving was just like, you're like, fuck this shit, I'm leaving. And then like, you just leave, like, you just fly into drive into the sunset. Oh, but no, I didn't realize like the guilt, the periods of guilt. You're like, oh my God, was this right? Am I hurting someone? Oh my God, I'm hurting her. How is she? I would be like, oh my God, how is my mom going to cope? She's going to suffer so much. And I'm like, no, she's not. She's not going to suffer because she misses me. She doesn't care. Like, what the hell? What am I thinking? And then like there's guilt. And then like all these feelings.
Yeah.
So I knew like I had to
Go
block
through a whole
them,
gamut.
or else they would like make me feel super guilty and do the acting super nice, like, which is a manipulation tactic called hoovering. So they would like be super
Yeah,
nice.
Duncan listened to that. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta listen to the hoovering part." Yep.
Yeah, they would try to like suck you back in.
Yeah.
And once you're back, they go back to being the absolute worst people on earth again.
Yep.
And the sucking back in part is very complicated because it's convincing, because suddenly they become everything you ever wanted them to be. Nice, respectful, listening to you, blah, blah, blah. And then once they lure you back in, then it restarts. Yep. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing was really just realizing that, like, even my whole family, besides like my aunt, everyone, every single person, and I have a big family. Like, my grandma had 5 kids. I have 14 cousins. So, it's a big family. Everyone sided with my mom. Everyone thinks I'm this evil, crazy bitch with mental problems, clearly unstable and unthankful and ungrateful. And that's how people see me. And like everybody turned their backs. But I don't, you don't look back, like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like the shunning. It's like, really, I mean, I really appreciate you telling your story, and you have so much insight. You've, in such a short time, you've processed so much of this, and you're able to really break it down. I mean, I really, really like your channel. I'm going to put your banner up again. Everyone, please hop over there and like and subscribe to Jen's channel at Ego Next Door.
Tampa B Man is saying, "I'll be your mom." Okay.
Oh, good. She's the best mom in the world.
Yay, moms.
And
that's the thing, is like friends are the family you choose, and that's the kind of thing, is like, what doesn't, like, family is blood, but like there's this, especially in very Catholic countries, which is the case like with with Portugal and with like a lot of European countries. Yep. People are raised with the thing of family unit is like, it's precious. There is nothing. I was told, like, someone from my family texted me saying I'm a terrible person, and like, there is absolutely nothing that your mom could have done for you to do this to her. You are so inconsiderate. Like, nothing. And this is what people
you could have kicked her out on her ear, but you didn't. So just
but this is the kind of thinking that people have, is like, no matter what, family, it's family. Like, they can do whatever they want to you. It's family. And that is a very, very harmful kind of thinking. Totally. Because it's not, you can go on your own and do your thing, and you have to like prioritize that's like the moral of the story. Like, you need to prioritize yourself. And like, even if it feels super bad in the beginning to like you feel like a terrible person for putting yourself first and taking care of yourself, and just like not doing anything for a day, just like sit on the couch and watch TV, even if it feels super bad, even if you like start getting like the jitters to do something and go work, don't, like, just enjoy that. Try to enjoy it. Try to live in the present. Force yourself to do that, because you need to learn how to put yourself first. Like, that is just the one thing. And unfortunately, most of us, like, people coming from big cults or cults of one or whatever, we learn to be completely complacent to other people's needs. And we completely lose our intuition, and we train like what some would call like the out tuition, which is like, exactly what other people need. Exactly how to meet other people's needs and detect when they're feeling sad or whatever. But then you don't know yourself, because your intuition is like outwards. You don't look within, because you have this sense of responsibility. But so self-care, people, just...
Yeah, you have an aunt. I'm not a mom, but a relatively good aunt.
Okay.
If you need another aunt, here's another aunt. Here's Grammy Faye.
Oh, that's so cute.
Plenty of moms here for you to choose from. This is your new family if you'll take us. Lovely community. So there you go.
Oh my God. Stop. Don't make me cry, man.
And Tampa B, Barbara already subbed to you. Aww. I think she's been hanging out in your chat too. So yeah.
Yes.
Everyone, please subscribe. And Wow, it's already been over 2 hours. I can't believe it. It went by so
Yeah,
fast. But
it did.
yeah, so I wanted to put this up as one last thought is Joel said this live has been very good. I think there will be more. I would love to have you back on, and I would love to
I would love to
dissect
be back.
some of this narcissistic you know, the traits and everything, because I think you're very smart, you have a good handle on things, and I would like to draw some parallels, because while you were speaking I was like, oh my god, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I can understand. And some of the things that you said that that you got from Kelly's videos and everything,
yeah,
I really did too. I understood, wow, more of what I had gone through listening to other people's stories. And I like hearing your input. So if you want to come back sometime,
of
that would be
course.
awesome.
Yes, yes.
All right. All
The
right.
answer is yes. She said yes.
Say yes to the trust.
I love how the chat is like everyone just suggesting, like offering to be one member of the family. It's very cute.
I know. They're like that. Oh, the wacky aunt. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, this is such a great community, seriously.
Love mumming. Always available.
Oh.
Pop Groomer will be a sis. Yeah, she's
Ah.
still very young. Tampa B, thanks both of you for being so real and honest. It means so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm the older troublemaking brother. Yes.
Sure.
Everyone needs a Steve-O in their life. That Steve-O, I tell you. Very hard habit to quit. Oh, I'm not sure what that was. Sorry, I hate when I do that. It's like a personal thing. It is like I want my channel to be like, the place where everybody kind of gathers with their coffee and hangs out and
Oh
talks about
yeah.
things. And
I already had my full coffee, but
mine's
was
cold,
here.
but I don't care. I just drink it anyways.
Cold coffee
All
is
right.
good too.
Yeah, it's coffee. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna do a morning musings tomorrow. Probably about 11 o'clock ish my time. And I already came up with a title, Morning Musings with Marilyn. And I think it's gonna be music, minstrels, and mind control. So how cults and spiritually whacked out, churches and different groups use music to manipulate. So because it was a big part of my life. And we can talk about, like, things like chants and stuff like that. Sometimes those, not that they're bad, none of that music is amazing, it's not bad, but cults will kind of use that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And thank you so much, Jen. Everyone
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
at Go Next Door, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Thanks
See
for
you later,
having
guys.
me. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.